What we think of when we think about foreign policy is especially our relations with other nations, and particularly as it relates to questions of war, peace, and prosperity in terms of foreign trade. The big question underlying all of our foreign policy debates is the purpose of our foreign policy. Is it managing the affairs of the world, or is it securing the rights of American citizens and our national independence? And depending on which premise you start from, you'll get very different answers. But the only orientation which fits with our constitutional order is the earlier understanding that we're supposed to secure our rights and our national independence, not manage the affairs of the world. Foreign policy is always important, and it's more or less important depending on certain circumstances, but it's always important because it's the area where if you make a misstep, you can do grave damage to your peace and prosperity and perhaps even the existence of your nation. It's the realm of necessity, of harshness. It can also be peaceful trade and diplomacy, but the U.S. has a particularly gifted geopolitical position, but it still has real threats that could pose a danger to our way of life. And we have to think about that in relation to some foreign nations, probably at any given time. So from the founding till roughly the turn of the 20th century, around 1900, the overwhelming consensus in foreign policy was that our foreign policy was especially about securing the rights of American citizens and our freedom of action to secure those rights and our national independence abroad. Almost everybody's heard of George Washington and Thomas Jefferson advising against foreign entanglements or political connections. And they thought we should do that to concentrate on perfecting our way of life at home, especially in terms of the security of rights, and to avoid the dangers of being overly connected and involved in the internal affairs of other foreign nations, which would damage our internal peace, our prosperity, and undermine our character at home. Beginning about 1900, we get a very different outlook from the founders on what we should be doing, and there have been changes since then, but the common thread that runs from what are often called the progressives to today's liberals is the idea that the U.S. has the responsibility to manage or participate in managing the affairs of all the countries of the world, including their internal affairs. And a great example of this is Franklin Delano Roosevelt's four freedoms. And two of those freedoms are that we need to end fear and want. And what some people don't know is he was talking about we need to do that for the entire world. And if you want to end fear and want around the world, you can't concentrate on the security of your own citizens and their freedom at home. You have to be involved in principle everywhere. In practice, that's not really possible, but in doing things like managing foreign economies, what we later come to call regime change, very different from the founding outlook.